jerk off that's just like, boo, where do you get your tattoos? It's like, dude, where do I get my tattoos done?
I love that. That's a good comment.
I'm in an airport.
Yeah.
Like, that guy down there. I just got this one, like, you know.
Oh, did you really just say that?
Did I?
You did.
Oh, fuck, I did. Mark makes fun of me of that.
You did.
I did.
I love it.
Yeah.
It took me years to break that fucking comment.
I get like this sometimes.
That's the best. For those of you that don't know, that was a Pittsburgh.
That was a Pittsburgh thing.
That was spectacular. Considering you're not from there, that you just
I've lived
pulled
in
that out.
I've lived in 9 different states, but Pittsburgh's an angry city, and we're talking about airports, which makes me angry. So that's why it came out. Yes, it makes sense.
You know, because I almost fell back into it when I was home this weekend.
Hey, you want to go downtown to watch the Steelers?
Yeah. All right, everybody, welcome to the Side Piece Podcast, and my guest this time is Michelle Lynn.
Hello, hi.
I thought you were going to meow. I was sure. There you go.
Yeah, everyone knows me like that, so meow.
Perfect. Well, I know you as the possum on your head.
Can I say something really quick about that?
Go ahead, I'm ready. I've been waiting.
I just want to say, for those who think that it's real, bless your heart. Bless your heart. You know, it's like I'm at the airport and like there's always just that one comment. They're like, "Is that real?" And it's like, yes.
Now
Yes.
tell me, what's the origin of that?
I just
Because I've been waiting to ask. I never asked you. I've been waiting to this day.
Yes. So it's more of, okay, you know how there's like some people that are just, they're sexy, you know, of just like, oh, hey, I'm going to be blah, 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 blah this weekend, da, da, da. And I'm just like, I'm going to be at your club this weekend, but with an opossum on my head. Like, I just think it's funny. I just think it's fucking stupid. I just like to be that way.
I had a feeling it was just that simple.
It's really just like, oh, like, you know the girls that are just like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm going to be at your club this weekend. I'm just like, possum. I don't know. I've just always kind of been like that.
Shane's going to have a question about that later, I'm sure.
He's not real, though. Yeah, it's not real. Like, he's not real.
We'll have to show him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought maybe it was a joke between you and your family. And then I thought, well, maybe it's just... from what I know of you, I thought maybe it's
people
just
have actually sent me like possum stickers too,
God.
and like a couple people like, hey, I saw this possum shirt and like you should get it, and I'm like, I don't dislike them, but I like cats.
Yeah, you're not into that much.
Yeah, I'm not like, I mean, they're all right, you know, but I'm just like, it's a filter and it's fucking dumb.
I'm gonna look for it now because I have not looked for it.
Yeah, and it when you do the video of it too, it makes like a little like noise, so that's just even better.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to play with that later.
Yeah. Totally.
Maybe I need one on my head tonight.
Yeah, we can do
just
that.
as a joke.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
We're gonna have to do that, and we can post it.
All right. Good. So tell me now. We know each other, but I don't know that much about your humble beginnings, if they were humble.
Yeah.
So you're from Washington State?
I'm from Washington State.
Okay.
Yes. I was born and raised in Tacoma, which is about 40 minutes south of Seattle.
That's going to be a hard one for a lot of people in America to know where that is. They barely know where Ohio is.
I know. And like, that's the thing too. It's just like, and I don't say Tacoma, I say Seattle, which it's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
But I always get the same reaction. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. How did you not kill yourself? And I'm just like, yes, it rains all the time, but it's beautiful, and you know, music, and you know, sports, and it's a really cool city. Like, I don't want to live there again, but like, I love where I'm from.
So your adjustment to living in Pittsburgh wasn't that bad. It wasn't that dramatic. Just rain to rain.
It really was. Yeah, like
rain to cloudy skies.
Rain to cloudy skies. Yeah, it's just the Pittsburgh has the humidity, like the West Coast doesn't.
Oh yeah, that is pretty gross when it's humid there.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you were a young girl growing up, what did you want to be?
I always wanted to be an actress.
You did?
I did, and I used to, which is actually I go through the speech in my head of winning Entertainer of the Year. I know that's crazy, but I've been practicing this speech since I was 8 years old because I used to hold one of those fake plastic Oscars.
Oh, I'm going to ask your mother about this.
Oh, yeah,
when
no,
I see
and
her.
it said Best Actress, and I was 8, and I would stand in front of my aunts and uncles and be like, thank you, and I'd put on plays for my family. Yeah.
Oh, so they're prepared too.
Oh, they're prepared.
They already
Yeah.
know the language.
Yeah, and except I'm not going to thank the Academy. I'm going to thank Edie Publications, which is better. Yeah, because I'm so glad that I'm not in Hollywood anymore. That is literally the boulevard of broken dreams.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I've known you for quite some time, and you started out in the business as what? As a dancer?
Yeah,
Or did you?
In this business?
Yes.
Yeah, as a house dancer.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yes. So I moved to LA. Well, okay. After high school, I went to Arizona State for 1 semester.
Okay, that was enough.
Yeah, and it wasn't because like I had good grades,
Yeah,
A's
yeah.
and B's, and then the C in math because math is hard. You know, it's like I'm this person. And
I'm that person too, but
even when you're like
I do it more subtly.
yeah, when you're tipping on a receipt, I'm like, God damn it, this is embarrassing. No, and I just felt it. And my parents came down on family weekend. This was like October, and what school starts in like August. And I was like, I just want to move to LA. And I was more nervous to tell my dad because it's your dad.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and my mom and I are like the same person. But my dad was like, we saw this coming.
They knew.
They knew. Yeah.
They knew.
They knew. Yeah. So I moved home. I didn't. After, so that second semester, my dad was like, "Why would I pay for another semester?"
Yeah,
you
sure.
know? Like come home and.
He was already on the winning side.
Yeah, he's just like,
Okay,
you
go.
don't need to finish the year out. That saves me thousands. Yeah.
She made a great decision.
And you know what's funny? I look at my list of like jobs, right? So like 16, I was a hostess at a country club, and then I worked at like Zoomies, which is like a skate shop.
Oh yeah, I was
thing.
gonna say that was a skate shop.
Yeah. And then I went to college, and then for that semester, then I went home, and I worked at Hooters.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, which was actually so fun at
Was
that
it?
time. Yeah, I was 18, and I was just like, I just made fun of everyone
I'm sure.
because there's a lot of military where I'm from, and so when they would come home from their deployments and stuff, they're like, oh, and I just would like talk shit, and they loved it. So that was fun. And then I moved to LA, and I worked as a waitress down there at Hooters, but on Hollywood Boulevard. Completely different environment.
I'm sure.
Yeah, completely different environment. I was used to these military guys in Tacoma, Washington, and now I'm on Hollywood Boulevard where it's a bunch of tourists.
Yeah.
And a lot of them didn't speak English because people from all over the world go to
Sure.
Hollywood. And then I also didn't live with my parents anymore. I lived in a studio apartment off Hollywood Boulevard, and rent's a real thing.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, I need money. And so how I started in this business where there was this girl. So I was 19. I had a fake ID. Ironically enough, from Pennsylvania. But I hadn't.
really?
Yeah. At that time in my life, I hadn't been there yet. And the reason why I chose Pennsylvania.
Just at the doors you were.
Yeah. The reason why I chose Pennsylvania was because everyone thought I was from the East Coast anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's believable, right? And I'm 19. In my head, I'm like, it's believable. So this girl that I met, though, at Hooters, she was 21. And in LA, well, at that time, I don't know what it is now, the alcohol clubs, it was just bikini. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
couldn't take anything off. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know what it was.
Sure.
I thought it was like a bikini competition. I've never been to a place like this.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to go alone. And I was like, sure, whatever. Okay. The first time ever I walked into a strip club was the day I started working at one.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I'll never forget looking at, I'm 19 years old with my fake ID at the alcohol club because I didn't want to take anything off yet.
Yeah,
I
you weren't
just
ready.
didn't know what it was. Yeah.
Sure.
And I see this like voluptuous titties girl with the long blonde hair. And do you remember that old man, Blue Pulaski, that character in the movie Old School who like
Oh, yes,
dies
yes.
in the mud wrestling or
That's
whatever?
right.
So she's doing a lap dance on a man that literally looks like that man, like
Oh,
old
God.
as fuck. Yeah. And I look at my friend, and she's like grinding on this dude, not my friend, but the blonde,
Yeah.
voluptuous girl. And she's like, huh? And I'm like, I look at my friend, I go, I'm only going to go on stage.
That's it.
I'm only going to go on stage. That changed but that is how I started.
Now, should I ask, what changed that? Was it when she told you how much money she made?
Well, so
as opposed to
I
you
don't
walking
ever
around with a bikini.
I don't remember talking to her, but I remember, so the club was called Fantasy Island in Santa Monica, California.
All right, we're going to have to look that up.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's still there. But I do remember, and I remember I wanted to act sophisticated because I was underage, so I ordered martinis all the time. Like, I would get a dirty kettle martini with the olives. Like, shut the fuck up, right?
Do you even drink those now?
No, actually, I still do, yes.
Oh, okay.
Mark and I love them.
Okay.
But it's just like, order an adios motherfucker just like every 19-year-old.
Yeah, I was
you know
going to say,
saying?
there's like a list that you should be
right, like
prescribed
black
to.
out first, like get through the shitty shit, and then, become an adult. But I remember the bartender, and I have my martini. I'll never forget this. And she was like, there's this club in Hollywood. It's called Crazy Girls.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Yeah, that's literally I even remember the address. It's 1433 North La Brea. Yeah, on the corner of La Brea and Sunset. Those 4 years that I was there at that club.
Are you going to tell me Crazy Girls is what created this woman?
Oh, it changed my whole adult. it literally shaped my whole adult life. It really did.
Good. That makes sense now.
Oh, it does. It completely does.
See, I was only a Hooters girl for one night. I went in one night. I needed a Halloween costume, and I went into the Hooters, and there was a girl that was semi the same size as me, which was kind of crazy.
So she was tall.
Yeah. And I said, how much to buy your entire uniform? I mean, from socks to the leg warmers to the T-shirt, the name tag, everything. She gave me a price. I ran to the ATM, got the money out, came back, and she asked her boss, she said, well, I don't have a uniform now. And he said, you can go home. Oh. So I took everything.
That's awesome.
Went out, bought a wig real quick.
Do you still have it?
I still have it.
Awesome.
And her name was Stephanie.
Okay.
Or Steph.
Yeah.
Was her name tag. And I remember when I came down the steps where I was working, they said, where the fuck did you get that whole uniform? I said, you will not believe it. I was like, I literally stripped a waitress down to her Reebok tennis shoes.
I wonder if she's a stripper now.
She probably is.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's usually
I
how it
probably
happens.
wrecked her world as much as my own.
It's a gateway drug to stripping, for sure.
Maybe for me, too. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you're concerned
You
about
and I
your
both
breasts
started
falling
at
out.
Hooters. Yeah, I know.
Mine are falling out.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
A button up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, when you were done with that and you went to Crazy Girls, did you start dancing then topless there?
So it was still bikini.
Oh, it was still bikini there, too.
It still had the alcohol.
Okay.
But that's how...
I've never understood those bars.
I don't get it either. And honestly, I don't even know if it's like that now. LA's changed a lot for this industry. But at that time...
Even now there are bars like that here that you can't be topless and serve alcohol.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't... It's like, boobs are boobs. Like, who fucking cares? Like, we all have nipples.
Yeah, I think...
I just happen to have more silicone in mine.
Do you?
Yeah, and they're little baby ones, little silicone. They glow in the dark, by the way. Like, if you put a flashlight under it. Yeah. Did you know that about silicone? Yeah.
We're going to play that game
Yeah.
later.
If you turn the light
you have
off...
a flashlight?
Or a phone, yeah, a phone flashlight will work. If it's dark and you put the light under here, they glow.
Now, if I see a fish moving around in there like a little gold.
Oh my God, that would be cool.
We know.
No, so that at that time though, that club, it was super rad. Like, it was a rocker bar. I'll never forget this woman that worked there. Her name is Malice, and she had like this mohawk, like 95 feet high, with like, and it was so cool. And it was just, and she did all these pole tricks. They used to have like local bands come in on Wednesday nights, like from the Viper Room and the Whiskey A Go Go, like the Sunset Strip, like the like bands trying to make it. And I saw her dance, and she was doing all these pole tricks. And at that time, I couldn't do pole tricks, and I was like. And I knew I wasn't an ass twerker. That's just not my style. Like, that's just not who I am. But I wanted to do that.
I'm sure.
I was like, how do you do that?
So you transforming all the way around. Like, so let's talk. I mean, obviously tattoos. You've got a lot of them. What, the genesis of all of it. Was it all kind of incorporated into the adult club where all of a sudden you
I just think I'm born this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, because I did get my first tattoo in high school.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
So that, all right.
I was 18.
Yeah.
But I was in high school. And I think, though, it's because, I mean, I knew at a very young age. I went to a Catholic school. Go figure, right?
I know the feeling.
Yeah. I think that's why I'm in this, right? They're like, don't wait to have sex until you're married. And it's like, okay, I'll become a stripper. No, but so I knew at a very young age, like I remember feeling like in 4th and 5th grade, I was like, I'm not like these girls. And we wore uniforms, but I always was like the one trying to push the envelope. Like I wanted to dye my hair.
No, you weren't the girl under the bleachers, were you?
Not that, but I wanted to just be my own.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
understandable.
Yeah, like I wanted to dye my hair and I wanted to wear a studded belt and like I wanted to wear Converse shoes and stuff like that. And while the other girls wore the Ugg boots, and which is fine. And I just wanted to be different.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I think, I just think I'm born that way. And I just think it flourished when I moved to LA. I was like, oh, wow, everyone's fucked up like me. That's great.
Now, did you find any, when you were on this path, did you find any setbacks as to the way you wanted to, the way you were creating yourself at the time?
Oh, 100%. Like,
where you were like, I'm not sure about where I'm at or what I'm doing? Or
I remember, well, when I first moved to LA, I mean, I was 19.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I remember like feeling too, and like I'm very close with my mom, and hi mom, I did it, I did the thing.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I wanted to, so, and I remember calling her and being like, why am I like this?
Yeah.
Maybe I should have just stayed in school, because
So you had a little bit of doubt. You
Of
weren't
course
that
yeah.
confident just going out.
Absolutely not, because then you know, social media. I mean, there was Facebook and stuff, but there was no Instagram yet and
Yeah.
all of that. It's not like how it was now. There was Facebook.
Sure.
But, you know, like everyone was in college and then, you know, they go home for summer or they go home and I'm like, I don't have that life. Like I'm living in an apartment on Hollywood Boulevard. Like, I mean, I went home, but I didn't have summer break.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, there was so many times I felt like, oh my God, what am I doing? But when I started dancing at Crazy Girls and I saw that woman Malice and all these like other girls like doing these pole tricks, I wanted to do, since I wanted to be an actor, right? I wanted to be a performer.
Yeah.
I wanted, that's why I moved to LA, but I wanted to be a performer where you had to work in something too. Like you had to train, which, you know, you have to train in acting and whatever. And I'm not saying that like models don't train, but LA is so like, I'm a model.
Yeah.
And so this was different. Like,
Sure.
you know, they're pulling themselves up, they're inverting. So on a slow night, we would dink around on a small stage and whatever. And it's like, wow, I'm climbing a pole.
Oh, yeah.
And after it wasn't that long, I Googled aerial classes and this school came up. It is a circus school.
I would say it's a circus.
Yeah, kinetic theory of circus arts. That's where everything just flourished.
Yeah.
There was theater kids, there was performers, there was dancers, there were even there was like just
It opened up a whole world.
yeah, like circus people are interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that was awesome. That was
sure.
so awesome. And like I wanted then again, I wanted to be different. And there's nothing wrong with the silks. There's nothing wrong with the lyra. But I was like, I want to do trapeze because it's different.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
It's trapeze.
Yep. Trapeze was my discipline.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that, and it was just ironic, Shane was doing your posters, and I don't think he had any idea that you do chains.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all of
yeah.
a sudden, he sent me the proofs, and they had all these chains over them, and I said, that's pretty weird. How did he know she's into chains?
So you know why I did that? It was because of my show last year, the one that won at the EDI. I was a prisoner, and that to me made sense.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what the look was, but I remember the show, and I remember the chains.
They're so gnarly. Oh, they're gnarly.
They gotta bruise you pretty bad.
Oh my God! Like it looks like they are so unforgiving. Like, and they're gnarly.
I think it's Claire Fay that does the chains also.
I don't know.
I can't remember. I think she did them here. But
Oh.
yeah, you guys, I mean, you look like you're in a fist fight
Yeah.
when you're done. But it looks good.
It's awesome.
So we're going to hang your trapeze tonight, I guess.
We can, or the flying pole. Yeah, I have it. I didn't bring the chains because I didn't think there
You're
was
dead to
a
me.
thing. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have. I didn't. I had
Shane,
no
killer
idea.
posters.
I know. But you know what? Maybe not you, but maybe someone should have told me there was an aerial rig here.
I know. I had it installed, and there's 7 points on there of
Really?
contact. So you can do all kinds of things on it.
Cool.
And it'll support a lot of different equipment. I think it has All the units can support like 3,000 pounds of downward pressure.
Oh, wow.
So it's a pretty substantial rig.
Oh, neat.
It's probably overkill. Unless I
Better
get
be
some
safe than
really
sorry.
big dancers in here that want to get on trapezes. I'm going to get canceled, am I?
Canceled.
That's it. So let's talk about you and I. We both have anger issues sometimes.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you do, but.
Oh,
yeah.
I definitely do. I just I try and hide it. But I know you and I probably suffer from the same thing. I try not to go on Facebook first thing in the morning because I feel my blood pressure just either goes to the roof, or I look at friends or family or comments and I think, all right, she's been dead 12 years. We don't need to keep saying happy birthday to her. or, happy heavenly birthday. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay, she's been gone a decade. She's done with the birthday. But then I also see just literal bullshit that some people spew out. And I think, should I comment on that? And then I'll start to comment and then I'll kind of play it back. And I'll say something to my husband. I'll say, I'm talking about this. And he'll say, don't post that. Like, that's just going to be a war zone. I said, no, it won't. And I'll post it. And then the next thing I know, there's like 6 shitty comments. I'm like, yeah, I should take that down.
Oh, yeah. You will get attacked.
So now I need breaks.
You need breaks,
So tell me about the way you are on Facebook early in the morning.
So I have a routine. I like to have I get up, we feed the animals. We have a dog and a cat. We make coffee. And I know this sounds toxic, and I understand.
I'm getting ready.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I understand the news is full of propaganda. I know that. But for some reason, and it's just background noise, like I'll look at my phone, but I like that in the morning with my coffee and just listening to Stu Varney talk about whatever the fuck, And while I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, maybe the 2 and 2 go together because you have the news, which is toxic, and I'm aware of that, and then you have social media which is also can be toxic, and for me, like though, and I try not to, but then you got to check it, right? And you're like, okay, well, I'm still a feature, and so it's like I have gigs coming up, and then so I should post. And it's like, how many days has it been since I've posted? I should check on that. Oh, okay, I guess I lost some followers, but also fuck you. But then, you go down this rabbit hole, and then you're like, you see the people that you don't want to see. And yes, for me, there's so many things where I'll say it in my head. I don't actually start typing it out.
Yeah.
I'll say it to Mark.
Oh, you're smarter than me then.
Well, I'll say it to Mark because he knows all the same people too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, and it's
your partner.
and it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, nobody cares. Who are you talking to?
Now, do you feel like because I know that there's always like little like girl fights, and then there's also feature fights. And, do you ever get dragged in or involved, or do you kind of steer clear and just say, hey,
Absolutely
I'm just going to be
not.
really competitive?
I'm just going to be competitive.
We're all friends.
Yep, I do not comment on anything.
Yeah.
I'm literally there's a few that I will personally call. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just fucking like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You know what I mean? And I trust them. But no, I do not engage with things on social media because I feel it's not the place.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of the, condescending sort of like, it's like, dude, just fight already. Just call the person out. Blah blah blah. Stop.
Oh, that's a good
stop
idea.
being passive aggressive. Like, whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And like, I feel too like, so this is my 6th year, right? And I've said this to people, like, when you're new, and when I was new, I didn't talk. I was very just like,
I remember.
You play by the fucking rules. You
You
know
were,
what I mean?
You weren't shy, but you kind of.
I wasn't shy, but
You stayed in your lane.
Right, you stay in your lane. You take the fucking back seat. You shut the fuck up and you learn, right? And I feel there's been a shift, and I feel like there's a sense of entitlement, and not within this industry, just in life.
Yeah.
And it's all here and now, here and now, here and now. But that's not the way the world works. And now that this is my 6th year, and I feel like I've had success, I'm not gonna fuck that up.
Yeah. No.
Like, do I see a lot of things on social media where I'm just like, ugh. But I'm just like, I'm not going to get involved in that.
Well, I know some of the people that, obviously that you've handled very well. You've maintained your dignity with, and we won't say who they were, but I know that there were some.
When I first started,
there were
things,
some feuds with some certain people, and they were warranted on your side. And I think I took your side on a majority of it. But I think that, this speaks a lot of you. You took the high ground a lot of those times when your partner was being bashed about it. And
that was a hard time because I was so new.
Yeah. Well, you handled it well.
Thank you.
I will tell you that.
And it took...
That's what kind of drew me to you, because I thought,
Thank you.
If this girl can weather this, and she's got this spine, and she can just say, you know what, you're not worth my time.
I remember a particular moment. It was actually Thanksgiving of 2018, because that was my first year of featuring, was 2018 again. And I was so new, like maybe like 5 people knew who Michelle Lynn was or whatever, right, in this industry.
I was one of those.
Thank you, I know. Oh my God.
I was number 5.
No.
Just hanging on.
No, you were number 1.
I was hanging on.
You were number 1. And, I woke up. It was Thanksgiving morning. My family was at my house, and there was 97 messages from that particular person to my partner. And I was so upset because it's just like, why are you so obsessed with us? And I remember like punching the pillow because it's just like, I'm not going to fight back. Like, you know, like whatever. It took 2 years, but I will say this, like, because I didn't react, or I guess not reacting is reacting, right? Like,
correct,
I didn't give that person what they wanted. It's just like, well, I have a career and you don't.
I was just going to say,
yeah.
Look where you are now. Not that this, look where you are now, woman.
No, but
but look where you are now.
Yeah.
And look where they are.
Here's my thing though, too. It's just like, to call yourself a feature, right? That means someone's, just like in anything. I remember this in a circus too. If someone's giving you money for your art, for your act, then you're a feature.
That's right.
If no one is paying you, well, then you're not.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Someone's booking you.
Yeah.
And
right.
so I mean, I commend you, because
Thank you.
I've been friends with those people as well, and I thought some of that stuff was just real bullshit.
It sucked.
And like I said, you've come out a better person.
Thank you.
I've watched you grow, but I've watched you also just be you this whole time, which is remarkable. You and your partner, Mark, he's a great guy. I always have fun. At the last expo, I was trying to talk to you, and then you got pulled away, and then I ended up with your dad, your brother, your mother, and your partner. Yeah. And then your partner left me, and then I was with your mom for a little bit, and then your mom sat down.
And I thought that was so much fun.
Oh, she's great. And then I was with your brother and your dad, and I thought, should I hit on her brother?
Yeah.
No.
You know what's funny?
Once I knew he was a pilot, I was like, there's a plane ride in here somewhere.
Actually, here's a really cool story. So, Dino in San Diego, he does his expose tournament every February, right?
Okay.
I was in it this last February. My brother lives in Palmdale, which is about 3 hours northeast of San Diego, whatever. There's a little airfield right outside or across the street from where Dino puts all of his features.
Oh, yeah.
And after the show, I was like, my brother is picking me up in a plane. It was actually, it was a single engine Cessna.
Hey, that's all right. They don't know.
But I was just like, this is so cool. And that was my first time ever in like those little baby planes.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you want to fly it for a second? I was like, okay. It was like literally 2 seconds, but I could feel it like you like a video game, but not a video game because you're up in the air.
Oh yeah.
And you like pull the thing. Oh, Mikey, I can't believe it. And like he's my little brother, but he's not.
Yeah. He's a cool guy.
He's so cool. And I'm just like, how do you do this? Like, I'm so close with it. Like me and him are exactly alike, but like he's all science and
I was gonna say, isn't he science?
Yeah, science. So he went to school for aerospace engineering.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's like literally a rocket scientist.
That's right.
Yeah, he engineers the things like the SpaceX. When Robert Branson, who owns Virgin Galactic. Yeah, that's the company that my brother works for. They do launches all the time. But then he got his pilot license, not commercial planes, but those little baby planes. And he does that, and he explains things to me, and I'm like, Michael, explain it to me like I'm 5.
So speaking of which, you flying with him,
Mm-hmm.
I understand you have a fear of flying to begin with.
So here's my thing.
Pardon
I
me?
hate flying.
You're going to have to edit that out. I think it just burped
Oh, it's okay.
mid-sentence.
Can I do this?
Hey, she's got, what was it? Oh, yeah, thank
Oh, yeah.
God. Yeah, he'll edit my burp out.
That's okay.
Next, I'm just going to fart. It's just going to
Well,
let
I
it
was
all
just
out.
gonna say, like, at least you didn't like poop in the mic. But
I didn't want to interrupt your drinking. I mean, you have pussy, you
Yes,
have
let's do
Casamigos,
that for a
and,
second.
and you have
Can
Crown.
we do
and-
ads in this podcast?
Yeah, I'll tell
yes,
you.
pussy. That's it.
It,
No.
it needs no explanation after
just-
that.
Pussy. That's the ad. No, so I hate flying because of what. Not because I have a fear of being up in the air. It's not that.
Yeah.
I hate the process. I hate. I'm gonna sound probably like Jerry Seinfeld here or something, but like, you know, because he just complains, right? But I do. I fucking. I hate the line. I hate, you know, and everyone's just like, ugh, you know, so bleak, and they're like next, and the attitude, and it's like, well, I didn't schedule you to work today, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like whatever. And then, you know, I have TSA pre-check, which, you know, it is a little better because then when you're walking by general admission or whatever, you're like peasants,
Yeah.
whatever, it's $85
make it
for
easier.
5 years. Yeah, it's so great, kind of. And then
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody that travels
I know.
doesn't get it.
You just don't have to take your shoes off, which is actually nice, but I hate sitting there. I get I hate fucking people breathing on me, you know.
Oh, that's another
Yeah.
thing we're gonna talk about. Go ahead.
They're always breathing on me, right? And like it's just like why do you have to breathe like that when you're, you know, when they're like like that when they're, and it's like, why do you have to do that? Like, just like, why are you, you know? I don't understand that.
You're
And,
sitting in coach, obviously. No, I'm kidding.
I got to talk to my agents about putting me in first
Yeah,
class.
really.
Like, I can't do
Oh,
this.
good God. That's where I say peasant.
Yeah, maybe I am a peasant. And then, you know, then you get on the plane, right? And then you're just like, awesome, I'm here. I boarded. And I always text my Mark. I text my Mark. I text Mark. I text my mother. You know, I'm like, I'm boarded. Cool, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like 45 fucking minutes. And you're like, I'm still sitting here.
Yes.
And, you know, I put the rain sound on. You know, I'm like, maybe this will help me. You know, because you hear this conversation, you hear this person chewing or whatever. You're like, oh my God, like, this is already a fucking 4-hour flight. And now we just sat here.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you're like, okay, then they're like, okay, we're pushing back, right? But then they drive around the airport for another 2 hours.
Yeah, see,
And you're like,
that's the beauty of DCA. It's so small
yeah.
that you just get on you get
I
there an
hate it.
hour before, go through TSA, get on the plane, and the plane takes off. You go to Dulles, it's a 45-minute game back and
Right.
forth, and that's why anytime I say if I can get out, even if it costs me more, I will fly out of DCA because
so
I know it's terminal
yeah.
airplane.
Where we live right now, which is Fort Wayne, Indiana, there's never a direct flight. There's always a layover.
Yeah.
And then there's always a problem. And I just, you know, I try to look to really unapproachable,
Yeah.
right? Like all black, like I hiss, you know. And then there's always that
They
jerk
just see
off.
tattoos and combat boots.
Right. There's always that jerk off that's just like, boo, where do you get your tattoos? It's like, dude, where do I get my
Oh.
tattoos done?
I love that. That's a good comment.
I'm in an airport.
Yeah.
Like that guy down there. I just got this one, like, you know.
Oh, did you really just say that?
Did I?
You did.
Oh, fuck, I did. Mark
Ooh,
makes fun of me of that.
You did.
I did.
I love it.
Yeah.
It took
That's-
me years to break that fucking comment.
I get like this sometimes.
That's the best. For those of you that don't know, that was a
That was a
Pittsburghese.
Pittsburgh thing.
That was spectacular. Considering you're not from there, that you
I've
just
lived
pulled
in
that out.
I've lived in 9 different states, but Pittsburgh's an angry city, and we're talking about airports, which makes me angry, so that's why it came out. Yes, it makes sense.
You know, because I almost fell back into it when I was home this weekend.
Hey, you want to go downtown to watch the Steelers?
Yeah. I said creek instead of crick.
Mm.
And my husband said, it's not a creek. I'm like, wait, what? No, it's a crick. And I was like, wait, I'm confused. What is it?
Mark has a buddy who's born and raised in Pittsburgh, and you know I'm Italian, right? And so we
Yeah.
say gnocchi, right?
Oh, yeah.
He calls it gnocchi, and I'm just like,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
yeah, like,
See, and it's funny because I was talking to somebody when I was at home, and they're the same age as me. They're in their 50s, and they live with their mother. And I thought only an Italian or a Jewish guy could get away with living with their mother at 53 years old.
yeah, absolutely, 100%.
That's it. Because then it looks completely normal.
Yeah,
And their mother's like, yeah, he's great around the house. I'm thinking, He's 53. Like,
Yeah.
shouldn't you be pushing him out? Like,
Yeah,
time to
no.
get back into the world.
Italians aren't like that. Well, not my mom. My mom was up. My mom was just like, go do things. And I think that's why my brother and I are just in the world.
Now tell me, when we were talking about breathing, I know you said something and I caught it earlier. When you're giving a lap dance,
Oh, yes.
what's your pet peeve?
When people fucking breathe on you. Okay, like, there's two. So, like, let's pretend to, like, okay.
Should we get Shane to do a demo?
Yeah, no, I mean, okay, so no, but it's just like you're sitting down, right? Down, not down. You're sitting down.
Good.
And you're like, baby, meow, whatever. And you're like, fuck this jerk off, like, right? And so, and then all of a sudden you just hear like it's on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh.
or the, like that, and you're just like, don't do that. Please don't do that.
The dry kisses.
Yeah, like
With
don't
the dry
fucking-
mouth kisses.
Yeah, like don't fucking do that. You know, like
That's
this
sexy.
isn't that great.
Oh.
You know, I'm literally like, I literally just like pooped before I got here, but you don't, you know, and it's
They
just
have
like,
no idea.
They have no idea. They have no idea, and they're like,
You're dancing, checking your fingers. Did I?
Sometimes I'll text my mom. I'm like, hee. They have no idea. I just pooped. She's like, that's so funny.
Yikes.
I know, but and then they just are like, and it's just like, nobody does that.
Now, talking about that,
Yeah.
calling your mom during lap dance.
Oh my God! I've definitely called my mom. I've called my mom in VIP rooms.
What's your home life like when you get back with Mark? Do you talk about this stuff and like do you guys laugh like I had this guy tonight or is Mark kind of
So it's
like-
not more like that. It's yeah, I mean, yeah. So because we've worked together.
Yeah,
in
yeah, I was
clubs,
gonna say,
too, like
you two have worked
Pittsburgh.
together.
Yeah. Especially when we worked in Pittsburgh. So he had Sundays and Mondays off, right? We would get home on a Saturday night.
Oh, that's right. We had the same days off. I forgot.
And it was like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. We'd pour ourselves like each other a scotch, and
Yeah.
we would just talk shit about everyone.
I figured.
Yeah. That's what,
Let
you
it
know?
all out.
Yeah, because we don't talk at work. Oh, sorry. Oh, you can't. Okay, I was like, I can't. I was like, are you waving at me? I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, I'm like, huh. I'm sorry. I was like, I thought you were just like waving at like, I don't know, Sam.
She
I don't
looks
know. I just
great.
made up a name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I always wondered if you two
Oh no, we talk shit about everyone.
like
Yeah.
if you just air it all out at once and then you're kind of good for the week. Now, was he overprotective of you at all?
No, so like,
Or was
yes.
he like, that bitch is on her own?
No, but he's actually overprotective of everyone there.
Yeah.
He's so business oriented. Like, but when we were at work, we could literally walk by each other and not even look at each other.
I'm sure.
You know, because we're at work. You
Yeah.
know, we'll talk when we get home. But he was very protective over everyone. You know, like my favorite thing working with Mark was watching him kick people out.
Oh, I was going to say, I was going to ask you what's your favorite part about working with him?
Oh, it's so funny to me. So he's from New Jersey, right? And he could be across the club. Like if a guy took his dick out in the VIP room or disrespected
never
a girl.
happens.
Yeah, it never happens. Yeah. You know, but whatever. Like he was so like, you know, like that's not what this is. And I could see him from across the club without hearing him, and he would do this. It's like, oh, I hear it.
Yeah,
You know, he's
you
like,
know
"Get
what
the
he
fuck
said."
outta here. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. I was going to say, I can hear him now. When you're
Yeah.
doing that now, I can.
He always had a pen in his ear too, and he just like took his pen. He's like, oh really? He's like, get the fuck out of here, like, you know.
I'm going to have to.
Oh, it's great.
I don't know how I missed the pen, but maybe that. Maybe
Oh yeah,
that
he
was
always has a pen in his ear, but he
that was
he
a
pays
weapon.
Yeah, maybe he is from New Jersey. No, but he pays attention to detail too.
Yeah.
Like he's the kind of guy that will walk into a club. He's like, why is that light bulb out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He walks the walls.
Yeah.
It's funny because we should have been friends, the three of us, when we were all in Pittsburgh, but it never warranted that the three of us would all be friends. But I'm very glad that we became friends.
Yes.
And I can't look back at the past now, but you know, I look back at it and say, we were rivals, but good rivals. We were healthy
Right.
rivals. And it's good that I get to know you in a different way,
Yeah.
and I get to see both of you on, you know, when we're just all having a good time drinking or fucking
Yeah.
around or watching you win competitions. Because this last time we did get to see you win.
Thank you. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you some of the things that I wanted to ask you about. So you're doing Stripper Olympics.
Mhm.
I know we're going to jump around real quick, but
No worries.
I don't want to miss this.
Mhm.
Just because of how talented you are.
Thank you.
I think you've brought another level to the game. There's some of you, you know, like Angela Summers, and a couple of you that I know that like they're just benchmarks where I look at you and I think, oh, this woman's gonna win, or she's there. So where did you place for the Stripper Olympics?
So the last time I did it was 2021,
Okay.
and I got second.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't do it in 2022 because we were moving. And then last year, I remember I was so focused on the EDI.
gonna
Because,
say.
yeah, and it's like, because I had made it to the, I always equate it to sports.
Yeah.
You know, because it really is like, there's the East Division and then there's a West Division. And then there's the Final Four, like the NCAA tournaments, right? And then the two, and then the Super Bowl, right? Like the one
What's
who wins
up?
the EDI overall. I wanted to win the Super Bowl. And so, like, since I was at that time, I was just so last year. That's why I didn't do Stripper Olympics. I was so focused on winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And now this year, because I won the silver back in 2021, and now I'm gonna go for the gold.
I think you're going to get it.
Thank
I have
you.
no doubt.
I've been doing so, as you know, probably from my social media, I got really into bodybuilding.
I know.
Thank you. And like
That was going to be my next topic.
oh,
It's a-
okay.
it's a what? No. Go
it
for
does
it.
tie into Stripper Olympics though. So I got into it actually
You're
when
not going
I
to
was
beat your chest, are you?
Meow.
We'll
Meow.
just leave that alone.
Ta-da.
That was a personal joke between
Yeah,
us.
that was an inside joke. That'd be great if that went out. No, so
Oh, you don't know how bad I would love to tell the story,
that'd
but
be so great. I know, and that's why like I wanted to say so much more earlier, but it's like probably not. But
yeah.
I got into it when I was 25. So it was actually even way before I became a feature because Mark and I moved to like near his hometown for a year, not industry related, just
Yeah.
family, like his family. And I remember being like, okay, I need someone to kick my ass.
Yeah.
And I just like kind of fell in love with it. And so I did a couple shows or whatever. Then I didn't do it for a while because Mark and I move a lot for this.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've moved a lot.
We've moved so much. But now this year, and I've done bikini always, right? But I'm like, I want more because that's just how I am. There's a division in bodybuilding called fitness.
Yeah.
And you still do the posing and all that, but they do like a 1.5 to 2 minute like routine.
Oh, so you have to do a routine.
Yeah,
with
and it's like
fitness.
push-ups and jumps and things. And like, so I started, and like my prep coach was like, I think you'd be good at that. And I'm like, performing? Of course. Thank you. I would love to do that. And so I started training in that. It's so, like, it's like calisthenics, right?
Yeah.
It is. And it's hard. But like, that's the kind of element. I mean, I'm still going to do some aerial stuff. And, you know, in Stripper Olympics, there's 3 different divisions. There's lap dance, pole, and then like it's like a mini feature show, like your floor round.
Yeah.
But you can still do aerial. And so it's like, I'm actually trying to learn a back tuck. Like I go to this like acrobatics gym and there's like all these little kids like cheer. And I do privates. I'm not like with 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I learn a back tuck at 34 years old? But it's happening. It's starting to happen. And that's just kind of like
Nice.
the element I want to bring to
Cool.
that competition this year.
I'm ready for it. Now, I have some other things too, because you have, what are some of the other awards that you've taken home?
The biggest one
Obviously
is that
EDI.
EDI overall. Yeah. So then to get me there though was the EDI East.
I would say it was EDI East.
Yeah. I've won, let's see, the year before that, I made it to the finals of the EDI. But then I lost in the final 4 round, I remember. That was in 2022. So, yeah, because I went to finals 2 years. The Stripper Olympics in 2021. And then when I first started, there was a competition, like some newcomer, you know, those kind of
Yeah.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, do you ever feel like there's going to be, what's your next transition? Are you just going to always stay a performer? Have you thought about going any further in like the adult industry side, or content creation, or?
Yeah, so in regards to that, no.
Okay.
Like, I don't even have an OnlyFans.
No, understandable.
Yeah, it's
Some people just aren't into it.
I'm just not. Like, I would probably delete social media right now. Like, if I wasn't a because I couldn't imagine like.
But let's get that possum picture in before you do.
Yeah, no. it's just not for me. Like, you know, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I just don't have that personality to do the content creation, and that's great. Like that people, and I know there's like women in the industry that are like, I love this, you know, but I like being on stage.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, where do you see yourself though after?
Yeah.
You know, where would you go next in this industry? Like, what do?
so
I know that's a tough question.
it is because
as a performer, you have to.
I know, and
You have
like,
to figure out a new space.
and you're 100% right, because this does have a shelf life. Like, we all age, right? And
Sure.
yeah,
You're aging beautifully.
Oh, meow.
I gotta butter her up before
That was
she
a
goes
purr.
up on stage.
You know, I really do like. So, okay.
Or I should say, do you get nervous about the end game? Like, have you thought about the end game yet?
Yes and no. Like,
Or are you just like, hey,
well, I went to culinary school during COVID because there was nothing to do. And again, I don't do the OnlyFans thing. It's just not for me. And I love the culinary thing.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I just don't want to work in a fucking restaurant. I don't want to stand on my feet 14 hours a day. I don't want to do that. But I love the culinary thing. So that's, I mean, I have it. I have an associate's degree, and then, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. But as far as like this though, like I go back and forth, because it's like I can't ever really see myself not being in this industry.
I was gonna say you'll have to find something in it.
Yeah, I really do like. So you know who Lexi Lamore is?
Yeah.
So she's like doing these shows this year at the Exotica, and so it's like I wanted to help her out just to be on like that side of things, just to see how it goes. Like, you know, I'm not competing. I just want to like help, and like I really do like want to like. I don't want to say like a feature school. I don't want to say that, but like just help girls who are new at this to, you know, who want to be features.
Sure.
Right? And like guide them, because it is so much more than like, I do pull tricks.
Yeah.
That's like the easy part, you know.
I would think too. You want to help people that you compete against that are fun to compete against. Like you're not competing against amateurs. Like it's making you. It's giving you drive. Like, hey, these people are good.
Think, and not just with this industry, but just in general, like anything, like even the fitness industry or whatever. I think it's become so saturated, you know, and that it's just, you know, there's like, oh, well, I could be a feature. And it's like, okay, well, because you could do pull tricks. But again, it's it's everything else.
There's a lot of stage presence, personality.
And then dealing with, and just the way it is being on the road, mental health with this, like there's just a lot that goes into what actually makes you a successful feature without losing your fucking mind.
So tell me, what do you think are the I mean, and I'll draw it at a close here. Mm-hmm. What do you think are the mental health issues in our industry?
I
is
mean,
it self-esteem, or is it?
There's that. I think rejection. I think, things not going the way that you planned. I think too, opinions of others can get inside your head. I think there might be a pressure of what girls think that they should do or shouldn't do to be a feature or whatever. I think, you know, I mean, like body image, all that, you know, like you always think like, am I good enough? Right?
Yeah.
If you see like, oh wow, she's so good. Or
now, do you think there are enough outlets out there for women like yourself to, if they have those problems, that they can have somebody to go to?
Yes and no.
No.
Like I think there's, like I think sometimes the wrong people talk.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opinions that are based on like bias or personal experiences. I think there's a lot of negative, toxic energy, because everyone at the end of the day, like for example, this really isn't for everyone. It just isn't.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
that's recognizable.
Yeah.
You can usually see that pretty quickly.
And you know, if someone has a bad experience or whatever, like, unless it's like literally life-threatening or like, you know, harm to your body, that's different, right? But like that's a completely different sort of category. But I think each woman in this has a very different experience. You know, for me, you know, I can't speak for how other people feel. I know there's some women out there that are just literally like, fuck you, and that's fine. But for me, I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean it's all like sunshine and rainbows, but that's fucking life. You know,
That's
life
it.
isn't sunshine and rainbows. You take the good with the bad. But generally speaking, I love this. You know,
Good.
Sometimes it's just like, you know, do I want to be home and in my bed and like, you know, yeah, of course. But there's still, addiction's the wrong word, but like there is a thing inside me where it's just like I'm not done yet, and
Yeah.
I know that because the feelings I get on stage.
Well, we're not wanting you to be done yet. That's for
Thank
sure.
you.
Now, I will tell you, as we've been sitting here the whole time, I've been looking at your leg tattoo. Of the,
Oh yeah, there's tits.
Well, that and I love how she's popping out of the boot every time.
Thank you.
Every time I
yeah.
look over, and I
Well,
just
she's
keep,
a showgirl.
I just keep wanting to say, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now
So
I see.
I got this actually in Pittsburgh,
It's cool.
and she's literally a showgirl, and I was like, I'm a showgirl.
I like it.
So yeah.
Yeah,
thank you.
I've been focused on it. Every time I look down, I'm like, let me look at that again.
With my cowboy boots from Boot Barn. Actually, do you want to hear a really funny fun
Go
fact
for
about
it.
these boots?
I'm ready.
I bought these. These are my first pair of Boot Barn boots, right? And I told my mom, I was like, I got my first pair of Boot Barn boots, and she has 7, and she goes, shut the fuck up. And she was just like, she sends me a picture. She goes, I got those same exact pair, and those were my first pair. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of footwear, Shane has a faux pas of mine. He has socks on with Birkenstocks, and I'm going to kill him.
I noticed that when he introduced himself.
And they're white.
I did. I noticed it when he introduced himself, and he didn't know me yet. Then I was like, ooh, socks with sandals, very brave.
I love you. See, I couldn't hold it in. See, now he'll never wear them again. Or maybe he will. He'll just be like, fuck it, I'm going to wear these now forever.
Maybe, yeah. It's fine.
So, as always, it's a pleasure seeing you, being around you. I'm glad you stayed on my case to get you down here because we've tried very hard for so long to be together.
I know, and we finally
I will
are.
miss your husband being here. I thought for sure we'd all be able to play and hang out.
Expo.
Yeah, because I kept telling my husband, I said, I think they're coming, so we'll probably run around the city.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm working 13 days straight, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I said, okay. I said, well, you're off the hook anyhow because it's just her. So tomorrow you and I will run around
Yeah.
after you get up. We'll let
Yeah.
you sleep.
Right.
So next we're going to prepare the stage for you.
Okay.
But Michelle, it's always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. You're
And
wonderful.
I
I'm
look
so glad we got to do this.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank
so
you.
we'll see you downstairs. And thanks
Sounds
for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.